Today we're diving deep into the myth, the music, and the enduring legacy of a true legend, Robert Johnson, and his deal with the devil. This is Hold My Sweet Tea. Hi, I'm Holly.
And I am Pearl.
And we're giggly.
And, we've had some more interaction on some of our other episodes, which is really cool.
Yes, I'm so happy, and
Lots of
love
back
to see
and
it.
forthies now.
Mhm.
It's so nice to get in there and go, oh, look, we have comments.
Yes, and we can talk to you guys. We love it.
And like we told you last week, we did add those merch and buy me a coffee links to the
Yes.
beginning of our show notes on several of the episodes. I didn't go all the way back to the beginning, but there's a lot of them. So easy to find
Right.
because it's
True.
right after the send us a text.
Right. So you can buy a shirt, buy a coffee tea mug, or buy us a coffee, which we probably won't use for coffee, but it'll help with the pod. And I don't know about right now because I'm kind of phlegmy. I need something. I keep going.
You need hot tea again.
I know. I need hot tea.
Maybe it's because Annabelle is in Louisiana.
Possibly.
She
I
made
was
you phlegmy.
like, look, that bitch come rolling up in New Orleans. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah. Every time I saw somewhere else that she was, I was like, no, get out.
Right? They're like, Annabelle's here. I'm like, why did you
Right.
remove her from where she was?
Did
She
you
was-
see when they were packing her up in New Orleans,
Mhm.
the voodoo lady?
Yeah,
was
the voodoo
like,
lady in the, yep.
To hell with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like trying to get her on out of there.
Yep, get
Like,
her out.
Leave.
Get her going because we got enough
Banish her.
bad juju and spirits here. We don't need
Especially
Annabelle.
in New Orleans.
I'm
Come
like,
on now.
they don't play well together.
No.
No.
Stop it.
Stop it.
But speaking of bad juju and spirits,
Yeah.
what you doing today, Holly?
Oh, that was a good segue. I like it. So I am doing I would say, partial, reality, partial folklore on Robert Johnson.
Cool. That's kind of like what I did with the Yazoo
Right.
Witch.
So Robert Johnson was a musician, and he did play, and he had hits. But then there's also some folklore surrounding how he got to be so good. So, as I said, Robert Johnson is a name that is synonymous with the Delta blues. If you're into music, you know that sound. It's a style born from hardship and hope, and intertwined with a tantalizing tale of a midnight bargain at a lonely crossroad. That's his sound.
There you go.
But Mississippi is undoubtedly the heartland of blues. I mean, Elvis Presley, but this was before Elvis's big
Time, yeah.
breakthrough in time and everything. But some of his sound came from Robert Johnson,
Right.
and these Delta blues.
It's very eclectic sound.
Right.
You got, yes.
And this part of Mississippi was a land where music flowed like the muddy river. Dust devils danced on unpaved roads. The air was thick with humidity, kind of like today. It's gross out.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Ugh. So it's just May.
Like your face hits the air conditioner and you're like, oh, thank God.
Right? But these tales tell hardship, love, and maybe, just maybe, something a little supernatural.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right? So Robert Leroy Johnson was born out of wedlock in Hazelhurst, Mississippi, possibly on May 8th, 1911. I'm sure they didn't have calendars just hanging around in their houses back then, especially in rural Mississippi.
Yeah.
You know, the dirty South.
Mayhap they did. Mayhap they didn't.
Right. He was born to Julia Dodds and Noah Johnson, like I said, out of wedlock, so they weren't married. His mother later on married, and they moved to Memphis, Tennessee, where he attended school, and he was introduced to popular music, eventually learning how to play the guitar. He was also born just one generation from the abolishment of slavery, but still oppressed by the system that locked poor black families into a cycle of backbreaking work for the slightest wages. His father, Noah Johnson, moved his family to the Delta to escape the lynch mob, but his desire to be more than just a field hand started early in life. When Robert was expected to be working in the fields, he was instead playing his guitar and singing the songs that came from the bitterness of oppression. So he was telling his tale.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Robert Johnson, by all accounts, was a decent enough guitar player. He taught himself. He was passionate. But,
which I always think is awesome.
Right. When you can hear the music and teach yourself, that's
like the coolest thing.
Right. But he was lacking that certain something, and he was determined to make a name for himself. So accounts from his peers, like the towering figure Son House, and this guy's name is S-O-N, Son. This is my son House.
Yeah.
But he was a big dude. They weren't exactly glowing reviews from his peers. He was rather hard on Robert, and perhaps that's why he made his mindset deepen. Son was quoted as saying, "Boy, you ain't never going to amount to nothing playing like that." Those were some harsh words.
Yeah. They either make you or break you.
Right. Did they fuel his transformation? Possibly. But all of a sudden, Robert just vanished. Poof, gone. He was gone for a period of time, and nobody knew where he went.
Oh, crazy.
So maybe those words just got to him, and he was like, I need to step back and rethink some stuff.
Like, peace out.
Yeah. But when he reappeared, well, the boy could play. So he went from okay, mediocre to conjuring sounds from his guitar that were otherworldly, complex, filled with raw emotion that cut straight to the bone. So people were like, dang. So this sudden, almost miraculous leap in skill gave birth to the legend. The whispers started. Whispers of a deal made under the cloak of midnight at a lonely crossroad. What is the significance of crossroads? You hear about it in movies and TV shows. Like there's always like a crossroad and the deal with the devil and all this stuff. So this
how
kind
cemeteries should always be at one.
Yes. And I mean, I've heard it all my life about the crossroads and the deals and stuff, but it kind of cropped up from this story. These are liminal spaces that, the intersection of paths that have held significant in folklore across cultures for centuries. They're seen as points of transition, of decision, and sometimes as gateways to other realms. It's often, even today, used by people who connect with the deity Hecate, which is the triple moon goddess, the mother, the maiden crone. It's common to leave offerings of like honey, wine, and chocolate as a way to honor her and gain her favor. She is also associated with the underworld. So once you leave your offering, you don't look back. You leave it. And if she favors you, then supposedly she gives you some good graces and some help. So even today, that's used as something that's practiced in people who do witchcraft. But in West African and Haitian traditions, the deity or Loa, known as Legba or Papa Legba And if that sounds familiar, you've watched American Horror Story, Coven. So Papa Legba was the one that Marie Laveau had made the deal with him, and she had to give him a baby once a year. Wasn't it once a year? I think it was
I
once a
think
year.
so.
Yeah. I think it was once a year. It's been a while since I watched it. But Legba is the guardian of the crossroads, the intermediary between humans and the spirit world, often depicted as a trickster figure, a master of communication and opportunity. He doesn't collect the souls or babies. He's just like a communicator between worlds so that
He's the middleman.
Right. He's the middle. He's like the car salesman that like smooth talks you and makes the deal, and then he hands you off to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he like I said, makes the deals. Legba is often depicted with sacred dogs or hellhounds. He's usually got a cane. There's some kind of keys present. Maybe it's to the gates of hell. Who knows? I don't know. And he's also depicted with the colors red and black.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think of a devilish figure, but he's not the devil, he's Legba. This is the figure perhaps that morphed into the more westernized image of the devil in the Delta Tales. So if you think about the devil, you're thinking, oh, red and black, skinny, tall, like lanky figure, but that's not actually the devil, it's Legba. In Hollywood, the crossroads are most always depicted as a dusty intersection, the moon hanging heavy in the night sky, a young, desperate, and vulnerable individual seeking a shortcut to greatness. Then emerging from the shadows, not necessarily a horned beast with a pitchfork, but rather a well-dressed stranger, a smooth talker with an offer too tempting to refuse. Not your fire and brimstone type, more of a cosmic facilitator. The deal, as the story goes, was simple. Unparalleled musical talent in exchange for, well, the specifics are always a bit hazy. A debt to be collected later, a small favor, an IOU with an underworld lender. Legba turned Robert's guitar and gave it a strum, and the sound that it made sent chills through him. And just like that, Robert Johnson could play. His fingers danced across the fretboard with a dexterity that seemed impossible. His voice, raw and filled with a haunting beauty, told stories of love, loss, and ever-present shadows of the blues. So his style was revolutionary. The intricate finger picking, the slide guitar that seemed to weep and wail, the call and response between his voice and his instrument, it was a whole new language of the blues. He only recorded a handful of songs like Crossroad Blues and Hellhound on My Trail. So you see where the story's coming in.
So he's kind of pushing out the whole theory.
The whole rumor of like, oh, it was a deal with the devil. Right, right.
Yeah, look at him.
And that's some of like his more popular, and I went and listened to him. They sound pretty good. Like they, you can tell it's like an older recording style, but like the guitar and how it twangs and all that stuff, like it's really cool. So, if anybody wants to go give it a listen, Crossroad Blues, Hellhound on My Trail. But those recordings became the foundation of generations of musicians to come. Eric Clapton called Johnson the most important blues singer that ever lived. The Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, their music carries the DNA of Robert Johnson. That raw emotion, the storytelling, the sheer innovation in his guitar playing. It's the bedrock of so much rock and roll, blues, and beyond. And then, here comes Elvis Presley. And he's kind of from that same area. And he integrated that in his rock and roll music, which everybody was like, ooh, that's the devil's music. And he's shaking his hips. And everybody was just
screaming,
oh, including my mother. She loved Elvis Presley. But
I'm over here like, he was all right.
Right. Yeah, all right. I guess for the time.
Yeah. Musically,
maybe.
I mean, yeah, great. But I just mean like everybody was like, oh, hubba, hubba. And
right.
I was just like,
I did get to take my mom to Graceland though. And it was a lot smaller than I thought it would be, but it was still really cool. Like
Yeah.
the tour through the house, and we went at like the holidays, so it was all dressed like Christmassy, and he had the
I bet your mama loved that.
Oh gosh, she loved it. She had always wanted to go, and we were going that way, and I was like, you know what, we're stopping at Graceland.
Yeah, he was the hottie of her time.
Yep, absolutely. So it's almost eerie how a musician with such a brief career, shrouded in mystery and tragedy, and who died at just 27. Like, he didn't have a long life at all. So I don't know if that debt was collected real fast.
Right. Not a long life or career.
Right. But that, the time that he was a musician casts like a really long shadow. Was it the deal? Was it pure like raw talent that simply blossomed? Or was it the potent combination of both, amplified by the mystique of the legend? The folklore surrounding deals with the devil or powerful entities is widespread. I think it speaks to our human desire for like shortcuts, for extraordinary abilities, often with hidden cost. It's a cautionary tale, perhaps, about ambition and the price of fame.
Yeah, and how shortcuts aren't always the best route.
Right, but like
get off the couch.
Right. Get up and do something.
Move.
But these deals and things like that have been depicted in movies like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Remember?
Yeah.
The guy who with the guitar in Mississippi on the old dirt road, and he could play.
Yeah.
And they said he made a deal with the devil. So that was kind of...
down to Georgia.
Right. That was kind of like the Robert Johnson tale in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Yeah, the devil went down to Georgia. And movies like American Satan, they did the deal at the Crossroads. TV shows, Supernatural.
Lots of Crossroads in there.
Love Supernatural.
Lots and lots of Crossroads.
But, I mean, it's just from this story and the folklore that it spun, like, you see how far it's still gone. And he had a very short life.
Yeah.
But
he started it.
So impactful of his music and what happened and everything. But, regardless of the truth behind the Crossroad encounter, Robert Johnson's music endures. It speaks to the human condition in a way that is timeless and universal. It's a testament to the power of blues, born from the struggle and transformation into something beautiful and influential. So the next time you hear a blues lick that sends shivers down your spine, or a rock riff that feels like it carries the weight of history, take a moment to remember Robert Johnson, the man, the myth, the musician, who may or may not have made a deal at a dusty crossroad under a Mississippi moon.
How about that?
Yeah. I think this is the shortest one I've done so far.
Yeah, no, but it was like still super cool. Very interesting.
I think, I mean, what do you think? Do you think he made some kind of deal? Like, he could play okay, and then all of a sudden he disappeared. Did he go practice real hard?
How long was he gone, right? Like, did he go meet some amazing player and get schooled, or did he really go make a deal?
Didn't say how long he had disappeared for, but I mean, he had a pretty short life, but he made an impact for sure.
Yeah.
But I saw that one and I was like, you know what?
And to die so young, did it say what he died from?
Mm-mm.
No. So he just died at 27 with no explanation. Cool.
Right. And they had one picture of him, like an album cover picture. I read that they really didn't have photographs of him, but back then, there wasn't a lot going on anyway. Yeah. It's not like you were running around going, "Oh, let's take a picture.
Selfie.
We might need this for later." So no selfies, no selfie with Legba, nothing like that.
Right. Let's document this moment.
Right. Contract, you say.
I need a picture.
Yeah, but like that.
Pictures or it didn't happen. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. But it is always depicted that way. There's like this contract, and it's like, even in cartoons, I don't remember what cartoon it was, but the little devil pops up and they're like signing, and it's like poof, the thing disappears all of a sudden, the contract. Yeah.
That you signed in blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or on The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, where she was supposed to sign her name in the Book of the Beast and in blood and everything. So to like give herself over to the Dark Lord and all that. So it was. I think a lot of it stems from this whole instance, and then the songs he wrote, Crossroad Blues, Hellhounds on my trail, like they were coming after him.
Right.
He was biding his time.
My thing is, though, he didn't get that much time. Like, that was a very lopsided deal.
And that's why, folks, you should always read your contract. And that's why music producers give these contracts and they screw over people.
Oh, my God, it happens all the time.
There we go. Read your contract.
Yeah. And quit taking shortcuts.
Yep.
Just do the work.
Yep, do the work. Don't be like, maybe if I do this or somebody gives me this, it'll be okay. Don't do it.
The benefits of the long way outweigh the consequences of the short way.
There you go. There you go.
Like you take a shortcut on the street and you end up with a flat tire. You're like, yep, I should have just went around.
Yep, should have went around or should have, You're waiting behind some construction stuff on the road, and you're like, I'm going down this way, and then something happens. Nope, should just sat there and waited.
Yeah, should have waited. You never know. That was really cool.
Some folklore and some
mixed
stuff. Yeah,
it's like a mixed drink, but we didn't drink it.
I wish I had a mixed drink.
Could definitely use a mixed drink.
Yeah,
this is the day already.
Absolutely. But... And then, down in New Orleans, besides Annabelle, they just had 10 prisoners break out of the New Orleans prison down there. And they were convicted
11
murderers.
And then one was caught really fast? Or
no,
was it
at first they said it was 11, but they miscounted one. He was in his cell.
Got you.
That's why I was like, he was probably like, whew.
He was like, not me.
Not me, I'm here. But they caught one. So as of today, they've caught 3 of the 10 that took off.
Gotcha.
So hopefully, they're scouring. I actually heard helicopters a lot last night. So I'm sure they're looking at the lakefront area and everything. Yeah. Because I'm like, why are these helicopters? And then I was like, oh, escapees. Yeah, lock your doors.
I forgot.
Lock your doors.
Girl, my doors are already locked.
Same. It's the first thing I do. I'm like, choop.
My dang pretend adult children will go do something and leave it wide open, and I wake up the next morning and I'm like, oh, how nice of you to leave our door unlocked all night long so someone could come in and kill us.
Not mine. He's like Mr. Safety. He's like, make sure the door's locked and everything. I'm like, good for you.
I feel like sometimes I should just get up when I hear them come in because my dogs lose their mind.
And then check it. Yeah.
And check it, but then put on a ski mask and run in their room and scare the mess out of them.
Do it. Do it one night.
Like, thanks for leaving the door open, bro.
Right.
Just like, get all dressed up like an intruder. My luck, Aiden would beat me up or something.
Right. He works out every day. He'll probably be like, throw you to the floor and be like, no, it's me, your mom.
He'd have a fight on his hands. He tried, though. He'd know it was me when he couldn't pick me up and throw me on the floor.
There you go. You're like, Mom, is that you?
He tries all the time to mess with me, and I'm like, yeah, you're not picking me up. Crazy kid. But
yeah, but lock your doors and lock your windows.
Yes.
Especially if you're in this area.
Yeah. Our wonderful theme music did not require a deal at a Crossroads.
Nope.
But it is by Patty Salzetta.
Absolutely. And she can sing like the devil.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I ain't ever heard the devil sing.
Neither have I.
But she does sing very well. We love her.
Gosh, so well.
And as I told y'all before, you can look for the Facebook for the band she's in. It's Wunderkind, WUNDER kind.
Yes. Go like her page.
Yeah. And then if you're in Louisiana, you can go listen. She also has a YouTube channel that's got like some original stuff that she's done on there. So
yeah,
you can always check that out too. And that is just under Patty Salzetta. So easy peasy to find.
Yeah. Every once in a while, a video from back in the day pops up and I'm like, oh, look, it's Patty.
Yeah.
Or we gone out and like watch her sing and stuff.
Or my favorite, like, I have one of those like smooth criminal pose pictures of her.
Oh, yes.
I was like, I love this one.
Yep. She's awesome.
Yeah. And share the link to this episode with your friends.
Yes.
So they can listen.
And I did get a suggestion from a friend of mine, so I'm going to look into that story as well, and then I will, make sure to give her a shout out when we do that episode.
That'll be cool.
Yep.
You can always email us if you have a suggestion at steeped@holdmysweettea.com. You're also welcome to message us via Messenger or DMs on the Insta. You can also message us on the TikTok.
Yes, all over the place.
Yeah, so many options.
So there's no excuses. So what are you waiting for? We expect messages.
Do it.
And this is a Drunken Bee production.
Bzz.
You guys don't make any sudden deals with any tall figures with hellhounds.
At any crossroads.
At any crossroads. Stay safe out there, and just because we're dipping doesn't mean you can't keep sipping.
Bye.